So on the 5th of May I had 298 games remaining, but spoilers, it was actually 305 because gifts and buying some games on sale. I swear I'm trying to be better, so much so that I've only added 4 games to my list since, meaning I have 139, but we're bringing this number down today. So we have 3 categories that have collectively been filling this backlog, and they are brand new games that I haven't played at all, unfinished titles I've started but haven't run credits on, and DLC for games. For example, Cyberpunk. I've beaten it, but I haven't touched the Phantom Liberty expansion. Also, before we get into this, I have these options of what the next backlog video will be about. It saves me the mental gymnastics of what to theme the next video about, and also allows you to be involved too. If any of them stand out to you or you just want your vote to count, then drop a comment and let me know which one of these you think I should tackle next. So get yourself a snack and a drink, find somewhere cozy to hunker down, and let's get into this 3rd episode of me trying to clear my backlog. If you're a lover of adventure and furry companions, then the Cat Quest series is for you. With all 3 titles offering an overwhelming amount of pet puns, you'll find yourself loving the creative freedom that the devs had with coming up with not only the names of NPCs, but locations and missions. Each title comes with its own seasoning of adventure, with the first exploring the dragon blood that runs through your veins, the second goes one step further with a war between cats and dogs, and the third just makes you a pirate searching for a very special treasure. As you can see, they are clearly just having a great deal of fun with the ideas they're working with. The stories are fun, not too deep, not without twists, and overall an enjoyable time. Now the graphics are cute and charming, but when the combat comes around it can be quite challenging with the amount of traps, spells, and the overwhelming numbers of enemies. It forces you to pick your timing of offense and to bait out enemies' attacks to punish. Now with spells, anything the enemies can do along the ground such as fire, ice, thunder, traps, you can do too. You simply just need to find the correct location on the map to get them. These offer up different options that allow you to keep your distance while hitting a crowd. The melee combat is simple but fun. Dodge in, attack, dodge out, repeat. And with finding new weapons that have different stats as well as armors with bonuses, you pick and choose how you want your adventure to go. One main gripe I had with this game was the fact that if you die on a mission, you need to run from the spawn point to the mission, go through the dialogue again, run to the mission's new location, and this became a headache. I didn't notice this too much in Cat Quest 3, but I had 2 games beat by the time I played it, so I might have not died as much. But this was my main issue with the game, as sometimes you are just jumping into a dungeon and having to run for quite a bit. Now with each title you can enjoy them as much as your gamer brain will allow, but eventually you'll start seeing through the cracks. The game becomes grindy, fetch quests are frequent, and the combat, while free to play your way, becomes kind of one note. If you just switch off your brain and enjoy the ride for what these games are, then you can have a blast and enjoy. I would say Cat Quest 2 and 3 are better with friends or partners, but you can easily tackle them alone too if you're a lover of cats and dog puns. Funnily enough, I bought this trilogy as a series me and my girlfriend could play, as she loves cats. The first title I played alone because it's single player only, but we played through the second title, and about 70% way through the game she told me she just didn't like it that much, and didn't really want to play the third game. Which is completely fine, not every game is for everyone, and this betrayal is why she's chained up in a bunker somewhere. Ultimately the Cat Quest games are fun, and while I did enjoy running credits on them, I'll likely never pick them up again, unless I want to go for the 100%. When I think about the beat 'em up genre, Streets of Rage is pretty high on the list if not the first franchise that comes to mind. And while I didn't play the game that much when I was little, I always knew about them. So I decided to get the newest title and see what the most modern iteration had to offer, which I'm really glad I did. See, each character is unique in their fight style with different attacks, grabs and specials. They are varied, but also playing as one is similar enough to another without it getting confusing. Where every character can grab an enemy, Floyd can grab one and walk around with them, to even grab 2 and then slam them together before they crash down on the ground. It's these slight changes that help you find who you enjoy playing as the most. My main opinion on selecting a character is just pick whoever you think looks cool and run it. It's not like you need to stick with a character if you don't like them. One thing I was super happy with was how polished everything feels. The characters, the background and stages, the visual and the art direction. Oh, and the music. The music is funky while also tapping into different styles. Some sounds more electric and techno, while others have a kind of dance vibe to it. These paired with the constant combat fits really well and was something I enjoyed quite a lot. So obviously when it comes to games like these, it's all about having the high score, a premise lost to time long ago. Especially nowadays when it's all about going fast, splits, PBs, on pace, all these speedrunner terminologies that are frequently used. But having the fattest, longest numbers where Streets of Rage 4 sits. You work through stages and beat up thugs that come in many different shapes and forms, and build your combos and avoid being hit. You can pick up food off the floor to heal, but when you're at full health, the food goes into your score on the level, as well as money you can find. You can also pick up stars, and these allow you to do some special attacks that kill everything that isn't a boss on screen. The bosses are the spectacle of every stage, as you fight to get there and finish them off. From rushdown to range to duos, the bosses are fun and engaging, and if you don't feel challenged enough, you can run the game on harder difficulties that give you more enemies to deal with, and a different mix-up that makes it a tougher challenge. After finishing each stage, you get scored and graded, and it works towards a lifetime score. The game offers a limited cast of characters to play as, but as you work through the game, you earn enough points that once you hit set milestones of your lifetime score, you'll unlock characters going from 4 to 18, all having their own moves and specials. Sometimes the retro characters from previous games can feel limited, but if you want a more up-to-date style of play, then this trio of characters can be bought through the DLC, if you want to spend a little extra. They're all a bunch of fun to play as, but also if you buy the Mr. X Nightmare DLC, you'll get access to a new survival mode. This delivers on a fun roguelike experience that has you work through wave after wave of rooms, while powering up your character as the challenge increases, giving you that urge to stay ahead of the danger of the upcoming threat. While this offers up more in terms of replayability, it wasn't something I wanted to keep going back to over and over. It's fun, but it just didn't offer that one more run feel that normally comes with roguelikes. Whether you get the DLC or not, the game is an amazing entry in the beat 'em up genre, and I had a blast with it. Do I think I'll play it again? Maybe, but most likely not. I got my worth out of it, and can happily cross it off my backlog. With so many incredible games in that style like Doom, Duke Nukem, Dusk, Boltgun, and so on, it's hard to find games in this genre that don't just hit the nail on the head and be its own iteration in this boomer shooter genre. So when I saw Project Warlock, I assumed this could only be the case. Well, adding in perks and weapon upgrades was a nice way of them boosting options in how you wish to play the game, but one thing I struggled with was the fact that I always felt like I was running out of ammo and mana. I'm unsure if it was because of how I built my character out, but this became a hurdle I just couldn't get over, as I was always being left with only my sword. But then I read somewhere of someone saying just do a strength build and just swing for everything. I had more fun doing this than playing the game normally, and it was mainly down to the fact that ammo and mana meant nothing to me. I was built different, as they say, swinging at everything from small bats to bosses. Nothing stood in my way, and it made it kinda hilarious that the way I had played it in one attempt became the way I chose to play it in another, and all I needed to do was prioritise my stats correctly and I suffered no real issue. For the first few hours I had fun with this and enjoyed actually making progress. The maps carry themes and each level ramps up in difficulty with mixing up enemies. The best thing about this was actually the enemies. I really liked the sprite work they did with everything from succubus to robots to hench Anubis spellcasters. No, actually finding iconic boomer shooter characters throughout the game in less alive circumstances was a really nice touch as a nod towards their inspiration. They offer a decent challenge on a standard difficulty, but I felt no real interest to play through again. Project Warlock had a bunch of fun and unique additions to it over other boomer shooters, but I simply just didn't like it overall. You'd think I'd put it down, but I gave it a good solid try and realised I was close to finishing it, so why not just beat it anyway. I wanted to like it, and sometimes games just don't get you in the first 10 minutes, but later grow on you like a depressed magical tumour. Sadly, or fortunately, that wasn't the case, and I beat it just because it was close enough to justify it. I will say my opinion is in no way the default view of this game. On Steam reviews it's very positive, so clearly something about this game wasn't for me, but is loved by many. Nobody Wants to Die is a perfect example of what a futuristic noir detective narrative can be. While slow at times, this should be looked at and appreciated for exactly what it offers. It's gritty while telling a story of a case you work and allowing you to take your time and get your thinking cap on. At times I was confused by what it was asking of me, but this faded away when you start being deliberate with what you do. You play as Detective James Carter, a man with a past working through his trauma while trying to uncover a serial killer's motives for targeting the city's elite. With immortality being something that can be purchased in 2329, this dystopian world of New York has many hidden connections that you get to unravel and explore. One thing that constantly had me getting goosebumps was just the music. It's a perfect sync between that detective work and that noir feel with the rain crashing down around you. James is plagued by his past and constantly working through it with a motive to work forward in one hand and a drink in the other, as his life sinks and floats within the chaos that surrounds him. which is only highlighted more with James' cynical monologues, voicing over moments with that dark, rough, smoky tone, that harshly fully realised poetry crafted in the dark facts of the city. To tackle the detective work of the future, you have a bunch of gadgets that allow you to X-ray scan through solid objects, trace fluids with a UV lamp, but most impressive is the Reconstructor, which allows you to manipulate time around the crime scene to best see what went down and who was involved. James and his partner Sarah will be working together with these gadgets and their collective mind to best discover what is happening, while sharing a rough form of partnership. But that's what this game does best. You unravel mysterious ends and leaves you questioning who you can really trust. Do you trust yourself and what you perceive, or is there something else going on that you're missing but it itches at the back of your skull? The gameplay around this can seem a bit odd at times, but if you just scan around the room and look for things that the detectives are speaking about, then it becomes pretty obvious where you're meant to be focusing your attention. This can lead to you getting incomplete pictures until you delve in deeper, and piecing it all together that makes what seemed like a closed case far more than meets the eye. If you're looking for a short, sweet detective tale with dark topic matters, complex characters, and a beautiful pieced together world surrounded with depth and music to match, then Nobody Wants to Die is easily a worthwhile game to pick up. This game has me so messed up with how it plays. I am not someone who loves puzzles, and if I had to choose fighting a room of enemies or a boss, I'm choosing the boss almost every single time. But the boss fights in this game just aren't fun at all. But the room of enemies rushing you down as you hack and slash or shoot through them makes up for it. So with the Darksiders games, there's a similar yet different style of play, with all of them having hack and slash gameplay elements at their foundation and building upon that. But Genesis is just a completely different ballgame, truly proving it was the black sheep of the bunch with its top-down hack and slash view. While still having hack and slash elements, having that locked camera position made it feel really off. But not entirely bad. It's a bit funky, especially when the camera gets stuck behind a wall or you get behind a wall. But when it works, it does offer a really fun twist to what you may be used to with the other games. You play as Strife and War, going on an adventure to stop Lucifer. With many blockades in your way, you power through and experience a very complementary and conflicting companionship that these two have, but it helps you to have a fun back and forth. War is all about business, talking about the balance, and has no time for idle chit chat, and Strife is basically like a Deadpool clone with his quips. There are deeper factors to both of them, especially Strife, as he hasn't been seen in any other game other than this one. So as you play as them both, Strife will have his pistols, which come with a wide selection of different kinds of ammos. These can be a standard shot, charge blast, beams, but also some stuff that can help create heals to pick up when you get in a pinch. War on the other hand uses his sword and unlocks combo routes that allow you to dish out some more damage and throw out new attacks. Both also have some special attacks that do heavy damage and aid in crowd control. I had an incredible time with this game through everything apart from the boss fights. It wasn't just that I didn't enjoy the boss fights, but that was the only time the game had any issues. Like being locked out of the arena, which you can never get into, so if you manage to kill the boss, you can't even execute them to finish the level. Also, I got used to it, but I hated the camera angles for some of the climbing sections, because up and down ends up being left and right on the thumbstick, and just led to me jumping off into the void. But the positives, the combat while fighting through waves of enemies in rooms always felt like a great time, especially in co-op, as you both can attack and execute a crowd one by one, and these moments just felt really cinematic. I don't think this was the best Darksiders game, but if you want to have fun with someone and experience an adventure with Darksider characters, then I would definitely say give it a try. Just don't be excited for the boss fights. Routine was a terrifying experience to be alone through. Like my physical experience, I was so tense. Staring down hallways that depths were shrouded in shadows too dark to see in. This was enhanced by the sheer silence of everything, small hums, flickering screens, and footsteps accompany you while you explore the facility you've just woken in. It had me constantly sat on the edge of my seat waiting for something lurking to make its presence known. You find a Cosmonaut assistant tool, also known as a cat, which at first confused me but ended up being the most important piece of kit you receive in this game. See, it's used for a number of things. It has a built-in PDA, it's used to solve errors through systems, allows you to see in the dark, and if you didn't clock the shape of it, it can be used for self-defense. The game doesn't really hold your hands with how to use this tool, but that kind of made it more terrifying, as not knowing what to do left me feeling vulnerable. So atmospherically, the game is fantastic, and the sound design has been nailed to make this game isolate you and leave you feeling like anything could be around the corner. You have a tool you depend on for staying informed, solving puzzles and defending yourself. So it sounds like the perfect horror game. Yes, but also no. See, when I said this game doesn't hold your hand, I wasn't joking. At one point this game, I was so confused how to register with my ID. I went and checked my room, other places I had been, and all the way back to the machine to end up googling it and find out that my ID was on my chest. I have no idea if this got explained to me earlier, but this greatly confused me. While it also helped me assess what kind of game I was playing, and that I need to be more perceptive of everything, which when you do, really helps you figure things out. I feel the best way to describe it is you'll get a task and a mission, and that requires you to put proper effort into. The enemies in this game are extremely limited, with you only ever encountering 2. But they leave a lasting impression over a short runtime. So first you have the robots that are basic in design of AI, but something about them having jaws was so unsettling. They're slow and allow you to learn the controls that you will need for the other enemy, the entity. Now I'm not going to show this creature because it's naked and I see no point in getting a video flagged for 10 seconds of footage, but it's hauntingly familiar, like a human stretched out with this huge opening in its chest. This thing is not only a complete psychopath with bouncing your head off the floor if it catches you, but can also go invisible. An important element that the robots teach you is if they go quiet then they're not active. But if the entity's quiet, and he's a loud bitch most of the time, when he's quiet, he's waiting for you in a corner. Horrific creature, and had me not keen for horror games where I can't fight back anytime soon. Routine was a complex horror title that was filled with puzzles that pushed you to problem solve in a location that has no means doing anything but making you paranoid. I think this is the most terrified I've ever been playing a game. But you get IC, and he's simply the most lovable, helpful little companion dude you ever done seen. 301 games remain after tackling all of these. But before I forget, Red Dead Redemption and Horizon Zero Dawn were both on my backlog and got individual videos. While editing them, I completely forgot that they were from my backlog and actually counted as 2 extra titles that had been completed. I think that's a good chunk of games cleared, and we are sat at 299 games. And I promise that there is no switch up at the end. I genuinely only have 299 games left. So that's pretty awesome. And I've been having a lot of fun working through this backlog, and honestly, turning these into a video has been a blessing more than anything. It focused me to sit with a game until they're done and bash them out. Thank you so much for watching this, it means a great deal to me. If you've enjoyed, then please leave a like and let me know what games are sitting in your backlog. And don't forget to comment one of those choices from the start of the video. I'll put them up here so you don't have to go back to the start. Yeah, I know, I'm a gem. Also subscribe, it's free. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day and or evening, and I'll catch you next time.